I don't know, the weird glitchy VHS tape, crunchy sounding, like, I don't know, they're like little memories.
Just because I like the aesthetic of it. I just like the dusty feeling. I could say my music is dusty, if anything.
Old school, jazz-oriented, swing.
It's like simple, but like still can like evoke a feeling.
There's no pressure for it to be like a pop song. It's kind of like freeform. You can just have something flow on for like a minute or maybe two, and it doesn't matter if it does the same thing over and over. It's like something that speaks for itself.
Lo-fi.
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 Lofi Hip Hop.
My name is Sophie Myers. That's also my artist name. I'm 17 years old. I'm from Durango, Colorado. It's kind of in the middle of nowhere. I think it's like way more jazzy, it's more laid back, but it also is like very rhythmic based and like percussion based.
Because it's pretty much the basics of music, kind of like
the drums, melody.
It's the drums and the melody, and then however like your creativity just falls into play.
You know, it's got a visual aesthetic to it, but the visual aesthetic is like cohesive with the way that it sounds to me, which is really like a selling point of the genre itself.
I've been starting to use like my own photography in cover photos, very simplistic images, what I see around me, like nature. So my name's Danny. I go by CZ Prime on SoundCloud. I'm currently here in my house in Ithaca, New York. I'm a student at Cornell University. Yeah, so I've played guitar for about 10 years now. I stopped ever since I started making music on the computer. I kind of got my style of like lo-fi music from jazz.
Lofi Hip Hop has been bubbling under the surface of music for a long time now.
Like Nas and like Jay-Z, all those like rappers and who like use the beats, things like that. Like they kind of just introduced it, and then people from our generation, I think, are perfecting it.
And it almost reminds me of the same sort of things that like powered vaporwave, but it's like this weird internet aesthetic that's kind of like taking the past and all these nostalgic things and like kind of reinventing them.
But like nowadays, like kids are just doing like wild stuff, like stuff that's never been done before, and like
Rap now, what it is just rapping over a 4-beat loop. And I don't want it to sound like that because that's way too generic for me.
It's definitely not like how like modern day rap is. It's like not about just materialistic things. I'm actually putting like details from my own life into it. Like I'm putting like passion and like emotion into it. I'm Elijah Burns. I go by Kara Sending on SoundCloud. I'm from Linden, New Jersey. I grew up in Rahway, and I'm 20.
I'm Deshaun Carter. I go by K Lucci on SoundCloud. I'm 17.
And just being like just kind of a nerd my entire life, it just kind of like just matched well with making music. I don't know why.
yeah, the music I make is pretty sad most of the time. Like most of the time when I'm making music, I'm drawing it from a feeling or I don't know, an experience.
So I don't like to go back and refine it a bunch of times. I like it to be like coming from a very raw and genuine place.
As long as it sounds good, it doesn't need to be perfectly mastered, and basically anyone who has a good ear can make music. You don't need professional studio. I made everything in my dorm room.
I'm a perfect example, dude. If I can do it, then anybody can fucking do it. Like I learned Ableton in like 9 months. My name's Sam, I'm 19, I'm from Ohio. I've always been pretty musical. Like, I played drums in my church band when I was like 12 or something like, and I was in band and like did percussion and that kind of stuff. I like doing more than one thing. Like I don't want to be like, oh, he makes bounce music or he makes lo-fi. Like I want to be able to do like, I don't know, I like making everything.
Sometimes I get comments, oh, I miss the old Steezy Prime. And I'm thinking to myself, like, what does that mean? Like I post one song and then post a different song and be like, oh, I miss the old Steezy Prime, which it's strange that people like think that I would just stick to one like genre like that.
Like, I'll make like a whole entire Lofi Hip Hop like EP. The next second it would be like future based kind of weird stuff, and they're like, wow, I didn't even think he could do this.
I think genres are kind of weird to some extent because it's hard to put like a word to this thing that I'm doing, especially if you're experimenting with like really new territory, which a lot of the time you are on the SoundCloud in these weird underground nooks. You're like kind of working with things that have never been heard or never been done before. I love lo-fi hip hop because of like the heavy sampling. You can take these little tiny glimpses of a million different things and like put them into one place and make something that's like the same essence of what it once was, but it's completely new.
You need samples from anywhere.
Yeah, anywhere.
Like jazz, some African tribe music, fucking dripping water faucet, anything.
Yeah.
You can sample.
Yesterday, sorry, my bad.
Go ahead.
Sorry, I was at work and like there's a stapler at work, and I was like, this sounds pretty cool. I just like took my phone out and just recorded it, and like you could just sample it.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I'm so dead. I was like, yo, this sounds wavy, and I was just like click, click, click. Oh, video games. That's a really good one too.
And anime.
I made an EP based off of an anime called Berserk, and I just had like cutscenes in there from the anime of like dialogue in the background, and I kind of just like retold the story in like my own, like from my perspective.
If I feel something listening to the song by itself, then I know I want to sample it.
If you go on YouTube and sample things, you're gonna see people pop up, like Jay Dilla, Final Lotus, you're gonna see them pop up. Like sample digging, I think is one of the best things about it too, because you can really gain inspiration, and you can gain like that historical, like you can learn like the history behind it too, just from making it.
Yeah, it's a super like big homage, and like, I don't know, like, and it's no disrespect to like, I see people like getting mad like if you sample like a certain artist or something. It's like, I don't know, just have fun making music, that's all that matters.
I think it's kind of a fine line that you have to dance around with sampling, like what is literally ripping someone's art off and what is twisting it into something that can be appreciated in a different light.
And for me, when I pick a sample that may be by a black artist or, you know, someone who's not white because I'm white, it's whatever, like, I don't really think of it like that necessarily. I just think of it like, okay, this is a dope piece of music that someone really dope made, and I want to put my spin on it.
There's a lot going on in pop culture about like, basically like white female pop stars who are just like really cultural appropriating black culture, and they're getting bank for it. I see it all the time, you know? Like, I see white people do stuff that black people have been doing for so long, and then all of a sudden it's some new trend, and that's like completely fucked up to me.
I haven't seen much of a conflict in that. I think it's 2017 and people are listening to whatever they want to listen to, and I don't really see too much of a problem in that. I have heard comments like, oh, like, you guys are like too white to listen to this, but it's nothing serious.
And as long as people like it, I don't care who likes it.
Yeah, I don't.
Young, old, black, white, male, female, dog, cat, I don't care. As long as
Doesn't
like
matter.
my music is cool with me.
Yeah.
Music is like the language that we all understand, and like I think people who kind of draw these lines between like this is a white genre and this is a black genre, and like I don't know, I don't fuck with that.
Getting into hip hop, when I do things that I think are like defined as hip hop, or when I rap and stuff, like I can't just jack the culture of something that I know nothing about. You know, I can't talk about things that I have like literally no comprehension of.
I know Pomona isn't black either. I thought he was black for a really long time. And then I found out like last year he wasn't black. And then BSDU, I know BSDU is Caucasian too. It's like, I'm not surprised about it.
I will get messages and stuff on SoundCloud like, oh, I did not expect you to be white.
I was at a show and someone came up to me and was like, yo, like I listen to SoundCloud all the time, like I listen to Zadi and, you know, like Medicine and Samson and all that stuff, and they said that to my face and they didn't know who I was. For a long time people were convinced that I was like they said, they were like joking, but they were like, yo, Sam's like a computer program. Cause like for the first 6 months, like I didn't put my face anywhere.
Yeah, I guess I don't have really like specific identity. I have like all my pictures on the internet are like baby pictures. Yeah, I'm not sure why I do that. I guess kind of like mysterious vibes, but mostly just so people can focus on the music rather than like me.
No one really uses like their real name on it, and they have like a lot of people use like cartoon characters for like their Abbies and stuff like that. I just now started using my like own face.
I made a really weird decision when I decided to keep my own like name as my artist name, because it's very vulnerable, and it's like, it's not just some picture or icon. it's this person that you can attach yourself to.
Yeah, but even when people don't use their like actual name in their picture, that's representative of you and how insecure you are with your stuff.
Yeah.
Or how introverted you are.
Being a vocalist is a lot more personal because they're actually speaking to you and there's like a direct message, where when you're a producer, you make a song and you can let the listener interpret whatever they want from that. So I feel like that's more so why identity isn't as important in producing.
Yeah, it's very different being like a singer versus a producer. And it's weird also because since I'm not producing in this very like producer-run environment, I become this like feature, you know? It just kind of like, that makes me feel kind of shitty, like I'm just like, you know, a repetitive hook to throw on some song for more plays, which is why I've gravitated more towards like doing my own independent stuff. I've had some weird shit happen to me just like solely because of the fact that I'm a girl. Like I have bigger artists, really big influential people that I like really look up to. They'll be like, yeah, send me nudes and I'll repost you. And if I post a song link on my Facebook, it's like, yeah, I don't get a couple likes or whatever. But if I post it with like a picture of myself, it gets like so much more attention, which is why it's kind of weird having my personality attached to this. I think there's just like a weird stigmatism between like DJs and stuff. There's like not a lot of girls doing it, and so I feel like maybe there's a lot of girls out there who might be interested, but they don't know or have the resources to do that. It's kind of led me to meet some really, really badass empowered females who are just like killing it. They put up with no shit, you know. And I see my producer friends like starting to pick up singing and playing other instruments and like kind of just like drifting away from these very like set standards for people. So I'm actually very new to this, doing music as my full-time thing. I just graduated high school in May. So ever since then I've moved to the East Coast and I've been focusing on doing music and pursuing art full-time.
I'm always kind of been in between jobs, like working at a movie theater, working at fast food, that kind of thing, but I've always just wanted music to be my job, and like I'm getting to the point now where it's like I'm kind of making enough money to kind of support myself.
I haven't been doing monetization very much until like recently, because I'm like, okay, maybe I should, you know, start like getting something out of all these numbers that I'm seeing. But SoundCloud monetization is shit. So
yeah, and then like selling beats is like my other main. That's where I make like the majority of the money, because it's like I'll sell like 3 or 4 a month, and at $150 a pop, that's $150 a week. You know what I mean? And I put 13 minutes into it. So like there's exclusives and leases. Like someone can lease a beat for $75, and then you can sell that beat as many times as you want. And then if someone buys an exclusive from you, they own the rights.
Yeah, so I do give leases to people, very cheap leases, but I don't want just everyone bombarding like my songs.
rappers like pay for beats, they buy beats and they lease beats, like lo-fi beats. I've never had to pay for a beat, like ever.
I've had like a lot of like people ask me for like beats and like saying that they're gonna pay for it, but like
They never do.
they never do. They'll see the price and they're like, oh, and it'll back away. But it's like it's priced because I put so much work into it. So yeah.
At the same time, I can understand where it comes from, because a lot of the people who ask about beats, when you give them the price, they really can't afford it because they're not making that much money. That's like one of the reasons why I started making my own beats to rap over and everything.
To me, it's not even like the money. Well, I mean, obviously money, but like it's not like it's not my main focus. Like my main focus when it comes to music, I just really wanted to touch like people. How like whenever I listen to music, how it touched me.
Reaching out to people and maybe having that one person out there who listens to my music feel something or get taken back to a memory.
And if no one likes it, then fuck it. Like you had fun making it. Like if you said it to someone and they're like, yo, this is tight. Like I said earlier, like the one person thing. Like if one person commented on my track and said they liked it, that's all that matters to me. Like community is super important. I think that's what makes SoundCloud so special, because like Spotify is tight. Like you get money from Spotify, like you get plays and like you get to reach a different audience and that kind of thing. But like there's no community. Like you're not liking tracks, you're not commenting, people aren't like giving you feedback, there's no messages and stuff.
So the community was really like close-knit, you know, and it's really interesting, like the people I met all knew each other, and so I started following their followers, and then eventually I knew everybody in that little corner, and I was just like, collaborating with all of them, talking about their stuff.
And I think that's really fucking sick. Like the fact that we don't have to be in a studio together, and the fact that we can just like convey emotions that way and that kind of thing, and just like be friends and never have seen each other waist down. Like now, like we're all here in DC, like playing out a sold out show, like that's wild. Like a year ago, we were just some kids in a basement, like talking, like we didn't know who we were, we never thought we would meet, and like, I don't know, it's just wild.
For creators, musicians, and listeners, it's dope. I wouldn't know any of these people without SoundCloud. Like, it's really cool because, you know, like you can just upload whatever and it doesn't matter, and it's very freeform, and like, I don't know, there's like, anyone can do it.
It's like if someone asks me for a collab, I'll always say yes, send me something, because you never know who that kid is. You never know how much time he's put in. You never know, it could be the best song you've ever heard and you get to make it with him. Like, I don't know, it's like this whole like hierarchy that doesn't need to be there. Like, who gives a fuck how many followers you have on a website? Like, we're all just kids making music, sad, in our basement.
I really enjoy working with people who I genuinely know are great people, who I know aren't just gonna like stab me in the back, because a lot of times like that can really happen, especially when you're like putting your music out into the world and actually getting money and stuff.
So as long as you make good music, it doesn't really matter. I just think that some people have like a little bit of ego. I think it's all based upon preference. Like, I don't think there's really much of a hierarchy. It's just based on preference, I think.
If you're really like integrated in the community, then you know that there's not really a hierarchy. If you're looking from the outside, you would think there's a hierarchy.
Yeah.
I see it like getting bigger. I hear a lot of like my friends who aren't that familiar with SoundCloud like appreciating the sound. I don't see it going anywhere.
So it's like on this really rising trend of popularity. It's literally gonna hit the mainstream. It's kind of hit the mainstream already. It's like the new aesthetic music, you know?
So they're saying that people are just creating genres for like the hype of it, and just like they see like a genre, like, oh, I have to listen to the song because it's this genre, it's wave, or it's like trip hop or whatever.
Even in the lo-fi genre, there are like 1,000 subgenres of that. I don't think any genre lasts anymore, especially on the internet, because everything is like so quick. Like, people just want something new.
I just don't like when people say, oh, you make lo-fi too, just like everybody else or whatever. And it's like you're just kind of being a poser, or like you're just trying to join the wave, kind of. It's like, you can't like knock people for making it, like making what they like it's just what they like. So, like, lo-fi was a catalyst for me to start my musical journey. Like,
And so branch out to other stuff,
yeah,
right?
branch out to other stuff. Like, it definitely helped me. Like, I'm like grateful for doing it, but I'm not just gonna stick with it completely. But I'll definitely still make it. Like, I'm not gonna quit it forever.
That